Well, hello and welcome to Astrology and Healing with Rose. My name is Rose Reevely, and we are talking today with Lorna J. Hines. So I want to start off and just say my mission with this is to highlight alternative healers who are changing people's lives, who are helping people heal and transform during this extraordinary time that we are here on planet Earth. There are many healing and alternative modalities. We also refer to them as mind, body, and spirit connections. This kind of energy work is what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be exploring on this show. And so today I am so happy to welcome Lorna J. Hines to the show. And Lorna is a certified medium and intuitive counselor and teacher with over 41 years of experience. She has extensive training in mediumship, healing, and developing intuition. So Lorna, I'm excited that you're here and that I'm getting to talk with you, and you're going to be sharing, your story and how you do what you do.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You know what? And this is a beautiful new moon day today. So I know that we talked about that a little in our email. So Lorna, I think our listeners would be curious to know, have you always had these gifts of intuition?
Absolutely, yes. Even as a youngster.
Oh, wow.
Always had a sense of knowingness, a sense of being able to be alone, but not feeling lonely. That there was something in my thoughts, something in my ability to communicate with spirit and energies. So I never felt alone, even though there were times I was alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in a family that was religious and also spiritual. My maternal grandmother, was definitely a intuitive and also a medium. And she often would say things and communicate things and not necessarily give reasons. I'll tell you a very quick story. When my mother and her sisters were growing up, they were preparing the whole week to attend a big dance.
Mm-hmm.
My eldest aunt was a fashion designer, and she designed all their ball gowns. My mother could do hair, so she did the hairdressing for all of them for this event. And they bathed and they perfumed and they just wonderfully got ready to participate in this dance that everyone in the neighborhood and relatives were going to. So my grandmother, who I said was very intuitive, sat back and watched them prepare. And once they were prepared to go to the dance, she said to them, "You're not going. Take off your clothes, put on your pajamas, and go to bed. You're not going to this dance. I don't want to hear any back talk. My word is law in this household." They cried. They screamed. There was gnashing of teeth. They couldn't believe it. They were going to meet their friends. And she laid the law down that they were not to go.
Mm-hmm.
The following day, they got the message that at this dance, somehow, some way, a terrific and rather horrific fight had broken out. People were trampled upon. The place was in utter chaos and disarray, and many were hurt and hospitalized. And when my grandmother saw that, she said to them, "Do you see why I didn't want you to go?" So this type of thing, she very much, and I grew up in an extended family. So the sense of intuition, the ability to communicate with spirits and spirits to communicate with us, the ability to uh, resonate with those that have passed on in so-called death. Our funeral celebrations were not somber, you know, as you know, knowing perhaps some of the experience, my ethnic experience, that these are celebrations of life, you know, and we cook extensively the meals that the person who has passed on, the things that they like to eat, and we eat them, you know, we
Oh,
eat
that's
that food.
lovely.
So to bring in their spiritual essence and their energies within ourselves. The hymns we sing in the church, you know, are hymns that they liked, that they enjoyed. So it is very lively, and we call it homegoing
Oh,
celebrations because they return home.
that is beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that. That is
Oh,
so
my
beautiful.
pleasure. Yes.
Yeah. So you really kind of said in there what you do as a medium. How would a person? How do you develop stronger intuition? How do we do that? I'm curious to know that too. How do we?
Well, I think the first thing is we have to recognize that it's there. It's one of our senses, and we have to learn how to trust it, and not just say, well, this is something that went into my mind, or this is, you know, I'm making this up. I think we have to trust it. And I think also we have the opportunity, if we so choose, to study it and to obtain more information as to how to strengthen it and how to understand it. Not necessarily going the path of wanting to be, for this to be a business enterprise, but how can this particular faculty that I have, that we all have, you know, we all often talk about sixth sense, you know, or you walk into a room and there's something about it that doesn't feel quite good. You're not sure what it is, but there's something that doesn't feel right good, particularly good. Or if you run into someone and there's just something about their essence that doesn't feel comfortable. You're not sure what, but all these are examples of intuition. So I would say, again, it's not something that we should discard, because it's something that is within us that can be helpful to us and our lives and leading to our success and our satisfaction. So I encourage people that are in business or doing any type of work to consider ways in which they can increase their intuition. There's a psychiatrist, I'll tell you this right quick. You know, when you get as old as I am, you have you have a wealth of stories. So if it's too much, just let me
No,
know.
I love them. I'm sure the listeners will love them too. Yeah, go ahead.
But there's a psychiatrist in New York City who I think perhaps didn't fully realize initially that she had these faculties. Of course, she had trained as a psychiatrist, gone to medical school and so forth, but then would begin to have the experience uh, of using her intuition to better understand her clients and better understand some of their symptoms. And I believe I read the book quite some time ago. I believe she indicated, and I think the book is called Sixth Sense. I'm not sure. I'll check it out. But I believe she said that there was a gentleman that she had examined, though in the course of her examination, he denied being suicidal. In fact, he had very strong suicidal thoughts that she picked up intuitively.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I don't remember how the story ended, but I do know this is when she became aware and understood the power of her sixth sense, her intuitive abilities. And just to clarify something that you said at the beginning, my 40 odd years experience have been in mental health and addictions. And as you can imagine, strong intuitive sense is helpful. Uh, Although, let me be clear, my license work as a licensed mental health professional is not something that I bring together with my spiritual work, but I am who I am. So if I get some intuitive sense about one of my clients, because I do have a, a, a large psychotherapy practice that I've been doing for many, many years after I left the administrative and managerial and research and all that kind of stuff that I did in mental health. I certainly would say my intuitive feelings have helped in situations with some of my clients where perhaps they may come across superficially about their sadness or depression. And through my intuitive feeling and my heart-to-heart connection with them, if they so allow me, I'm able to query a little deeper to the extent to which they may feel in a state of despair or sadness.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like unlocking the door for them um, to give them the opportunity to share their sadness or their grief or whatever it is. What it Now, here's something I'm really interested in, as I expressed to you, is talk to us about trance healing.
Okay. Well, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 2000, maybe 2007, 2008, in spite of a very expanded career in mental health and addictions in New York State, New York City, I was really quite, shall we say, in the higher echelons of psychiatric care, and being in charge of in fact, three departments of psychiatry in New York City. But in spite of that, and teaching also, because I taught in 3 graduate schools of social work, but there was still something missing. There was still something where I felt that I wanted to do more. And so I joined a group of women who were studying mediumship and intuitive studies on the telephone, because at that time we didn't have Zoom and all this. So we learned on the telephone, and I was in that group for many years. And at the same time, I began my studies in numerology. And then I felt I love your symbol of door opening, because yes, that's what happened. Doors began to open. And in 2010, I began my mediumship studies. And I've continued on in studying my mediumship and actually offering mediumship work. But then somehow I was encouraged by one of my teachers to consider trance. In fact, she said, and I can remember it to this day, and she's a well-known, world-renowned medium and teacher. She said, "Oh, you have the capacity for trance and also physical mediumship." And I said, "Oh, me?" I said, "Oh no, that can't be me." Isn't it funny how we always push away the obvious? But then after that, another teacher of mine that worked with me on mediumship and intuitive studies said, "Yes, I'd love for you to join my class on mediumship because I think you have something there." Excuse me one second. So I joined his class, and lo and behold, I felt able to go into these trance states. And then from there, I I sat in a trance and physical mediumship group, oh, probably about 3 years. And then beyond that, I got interested in, I've always been interested in healing, but I got interested in trance healing with one particular woman who is an expert and a teacher at Arthur Findlay College, which is the center of training in mediumship and intuitive studies and so forth in England, in UK.
Yes.
And I started a year long. It started out as a mentorship, and by midway, she said, "Oh, I'm not mentoring you. You're an apprentice. You were born to do this work." And so, with her encouragement, have pursued this trance healing. Now, trance healing, when people hear trance, they think about uh, uh, I don't know, uncomfortable subjects or things that where a person loses control. I absolutely want to guarantee you it is safe and it's secure. All trance means is an alternate sense of awareness. So when we sleep, it's a very deep trance, isn't it?
Yes.
But in the trance healing, and we can look at trance along a continuum. We might have a daydreaming experience where we at the beginning part there, where we're meditating, and that's a very light trance. But then as we go on in this altered state of awareness, we're able to deepen that experience. And in the process of deepening that experience, I have learned how to connect with spiritual practitioners, people that practice medicine, herbal work, all types of healers that will come to offer healing to individuals that are suffering from some sort of challenge,
Mm-hmm.
be it physical. And because of my background in mental health, I'm often used for emotional challenges that people face.
Mm-hmm.
And during the uh, mediumship and trance healing experience, which again is very safe, very secure. In fact, I have some examples on it, I believe, on my YouTube channel. During that time, the person may actually feel very gentle touches that are related to the spiritual practitioners offering them uh, some aspect of healing.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, when I am in the mediumship part of the trance healing, I will often see how they're working, and I will explain to the person what I'm seeing so they can jot down notes. And when our reading, our mediumship experience and trance experience is over, then we can sort of debrief to gain greater understanding of what has gone on. And so oftentimes people would say, "Oh yes, I felt something in my stomach, but I didn't know quite what it was, or I felt something very light here on my temple, but again, I didn't know what it was." But this is also part of the trance healing experience. And I have to tell you, and I'm going to say this with humility, Rose, the people that I have worked with, I have some of their testimonials on my website. They have really benefited from this. Um, it's intensive, of course, because you're doing a one-on-one, but there's been great benefits in healing that people have been able to achieve.
Have you, that is so interesting. I'm so fascinated with it. Can you do this um, through Zoom sessions or how, especially now with, with the virus and some people concerned for that, can you do these trance sessions through Zoom or over the phone? How would you do that?
Presently, absolutely Zoom. And again, there's some demonstrations I've done on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You see, the people are oftentimes feeling that we cannot work productively over the using these various technological tools. And because I've continued my trance studies, and I also uh, sit with groups where I'm receiving information via trance from other people leading the group. They have talked about the fact that our spirit helpers and teachers in the spirit realm, they're getting accustomed to these technologies that we use. And they often tell us that absolutely, whatever vehicles that we need to utilize in order to proliferate and push forward our healing work, absolutely we should use it, because it's all about the energy. What we need to do is connect with the energetic presence. We need to, of course, prepare ourselves, attune ourselves, blend with the spirits around us, and focus on ways in which mm, we can be in a sense of oneness,
Hmm.
so that we can capture these important energies to put forth our ability to heal. And we shouldn't worry that it's via Zoom or telephone, or if we have, of course, the great opportunity for the face-to-face. That's the most, helpful vehicle. It's the one we're used to. But at the same time, it can definitely take place with other vehicles.
Yeah, I so agree with you there on that. I really do. And even in my own astrology practice, like you said, we prefer live energy or in the office where you're physically both there. But I have to say there's been some great. The Zoom is a great tool, and even the phone too. Um, so Lorna, I wanted to ask you, and you probably have many stories, but I always like to know about, is there a time that any time that you've done trance healing or even mediumship where the person on the receiving end, that you felt they received automatic healing? This may happen to you all the time, but maybe there is a story that you can share with us that stands out for you.
I have a couple. And one of the most intense one for me was with a woman that I had been seeing, and she unfortunately had some immense difficulties in her life, as we all do, going through a separation with her husband, and also going through his reluctance, I'll say reluctance, I want to be politically correct, to offer child support. They had a child together, and he was really not, in my way of thinking, assuming his obligations to her and to the family. She had a son that was a severe asthmatic. She was a teacher, but she was not earning sufficient resources to really manage for herself and her son. They were living in a basement apartment, and it wasn't clear if being in that environment, it was affecting the son's asthma. So she had many challenges, and she decided to see me, to talk to me. She was sad. She was in a state of despair. And as we were talking, I kept being, the word is accosted by a sense up above me. And this wasn't a strictly mediumship reading, so I didn't want to say too much. But this woman that was above me on my ceiling, she kept trying to get my attention. She kept trying to interrupt the conversation. She would not, even though I did all the techniques that I'm told to, all right, you it's not time for this now. Please go away. I did all that. But the more I did it, the more she continued. So then I said to the client, I have someone here. I know we're not doing a mediumship reading, but I have someone here that's insisting to speak through me to you. And are you comfortable? Because if you're not comfortable, it's fine. We'll continue. But she's most insistent. Well, it turned out that it was this woman's great aunt who had passed. And the experience for the client of getting not only the message from this great aunt, because she had a specific message that she wanted to give, but there was something so profoundly healing for her from the energies, just the energies that she felt from the aunt.
Wow.
She just, and to know, and I'm getting chills as I recall this, and for her to know that this love and cherishment existed for her, my client existed for her on the other side, and that she was valued and she was respected and she was uplifted on the other side. There was something about that that empowered her. Well, I will tell you, this woman, the client, from that on, this was a springboard into health. So I don't know if you would call that automatic, but I think there was something automatic about it, because this woman was able to pursue getting support from the ex-husband. She eventually divorced from him. She went back to school. She finished her PhD in education. She is now very, very, very successful and is going on to think about even moving on from the education field of in public service to go into something more entrepreneurial. So you see, you see what I'm saying. There's something with it. There's something with it with that. Now that was with the trance healing. One particular person was having trouble with her eyes, some ailment. I don't even remember exactly what the ailment was, but the spirit practitioners came forward for her, and they offered some type of intervention that she felt, that I saw as they were doing it on this eye problem. And in addition to the spiritual practitioners, her family, that her mother, father, that were in spirit, they also came forward and gave her healing. And her testimonial to that incident, in terms of it being evidential and also very healing, it was inspiring to read her words. And she is she shared her experience on my webpage, on my and I'm just so thankful. I will tell you, these are just two, but I'm just so thankful. I'll tell you, Rose, that I am serving spirit in this way by serving her children. You see, it's an enormous honor. It's an enormous honor that I'm being used in that way.
Yeah, I see that, and it was it's been some years back that I really began to recognize that they're there watching us. They're there, and we are part of them. After all, our DNA is their DNA. And as you were expressing with the lady whose great aunt came through, they still watch over us and have an interest in our lives. And I just find it so fascinating, because it took me so long to kind of figure that out, that they may be there, but they still influence us and still have care about us. And, I can, my father has been gone now for a very long time, about 23 years. But I can still sense his presence at times, and it makes me feel very happy, just to know that he's, that he's there. So I think there's incredible healing that takes place for people, unexpected, just like the story, very unexpected, which is, is so memorable and so valuable. And like you said, it totally changed her life. It, having that experience. So do you teach classes on intuition? What, tell our listeners what, do you teach classes currently, or?
Yes, I teach and I mentor students. I teach inspirational speaking. I teach lots of different subjects as it comes up. I am working on a book that I hope to have done by the end of this year. I've been working with a editor, and I hope to get a publisher that will work with me. So a lot of my efforts have been towards that, as well as working on additional credentialing with the Spiritualist National Union. But I do mentor students and teach inspirational speaking, mediumship, trance, all of those different things I teach. And I also have, I'm the administrator of a Facebook group called Mediums of African Ancestry.
Uh-huh.
And my hope with that group, it's a learning community, a diverse learning community of all people that are interested in the subject matter, interested in the presence of people of African ancestry in healing and also in mediumship, being able to share and expand information about healing and mediumship to African people, African ancestry people, and also people of that are of color, who are not fully represented in some of the audiences we see in mediumship and healing demonstrations. And these are enormously powerful and helpful vehicles. And so I would like to expand it so that all are aware and all begin to appreciate the benefits of these healing qualities.
Yeah. I think, and I think it's so important, because I think people don't realize how it's available. There's so many ways to heal, but how this is especially just the avenues of healing. It's just incredible to me. And it's funny when you said your book, because I had made myself a note to say, ask about the book. So see, my intuition was.
Thank you.
And look, we have on. All right. So I want you to share, Lorna, if you will, how we can get in contact with you at your website. And of course, we're going to list that all in the information, but just so the listeners have all of the ways to contact you.
Lovely. And again, Rose, I do want to thank you for this opportunity. Not only that I have the rare opportunity to share with your listeners, but it's just been so, you've been so inviting and so charming and committed to the work. And I'm so appreciative of that. But let me answer your question as you asked me to. My website is www.lornajhines.com. Lorna, Lorna, J, Hines, Hines.com. That's my website. My email address is lornajhines@gmail.com. And if you would like, I have a YouTube channel, also Lorna J. Hines. So if you just remember Lorna J. Hines or Duncan Hines or Hines Ketchup, or however you want to remember me, you can just Google and my information will come up. I'm also on Facebook, and I post my events also on Facebook. I have 2 free events coming up that I'd like to share, if you don't mind. They're free. Let's see if I can pull it up in a moment. Yes, give me 1 second. Both of these are online in Zoom, and all you have to do is take a look at my Facebook page, and that information will be there. I believe one is coming up on October 23rd. Yes. It's being held on Zoom by a spiritualist church called Hexham, Hexham. It starts at 7 UK time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
So I'll be demonstrating with a group of mediums for that. And then the second is on Sunday, October 27th. And I believe, let's see, I believe that's also 2 p.m. That's a spiritual service on Zoom called Angels Love. And that will come up. I believe that's at 2 as well. But all of it's listed on my Facebook page.
On Facebook.
And on Facebook, yes, I have a business page. So then I would love to invite your readers to look at my Facebook page, where I will list. I'll be doing some trance healing also before the end of the year. I'm going to try to do at least one event. I had 2 events planned, unfortunately, due to the corona in our area. Both of the events were canceled. So I'm going to not let that dissuade me. I'm going to just push forward and utilize Zoom and see if I could get an audience that might be interested.
Yeah, I think you will be very successful at that. I really do. And remember, this new moon is in Spica today, which denotes success and prosperity. So
fabulous.
We're just going to order that up for.
Amen. I love it. I love it. And and hope. Let us also see that healing is also about hope. And just as our eyes, when we flash a little bit of light, our eyes open, don't they? Don't the irises and so forth open? And so let us be hopeful that we can open ourselves to spirit, and the positive, the hopeful, the effective, energetic vibrations that we can receive from spirit. We already have them, absolutely, because we're endowed with them. But let us open ourselves so that we can hopefully increase that lovely vibration, that helpful vibration, that hopeful vibration, especially as we go through multiple pandemics, challenges, and so forth.
Mm-hmm. I do feel that was lovely. Thank you. I do feel it is the healers that are, lighting the way. Healing is what we need. And I think that we all came here to heal. And we're all helping each other along on that path in some way. Well, I want to thank you. You are a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing today. And I hope that you'll come back soon. And we'd love to hear more about the work that you're doing. And I know that you're going to have that book out soon.
Thank you. From your lips to God's ears. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorna. We'll see you soon, okay?
Please keep in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.